Good morning, everyone on the call, and good morning to the general public, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for Friday, May 6, 2022. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Corzan. President Garcia, you do have a quorum at this time. Currently, we do have 2 callers on the line. Under general public comment, we have no commentaries under the Neighborhood Council comment section. There are no speakers on the line for any of the items for today's agenda. In addition to that, President Garcia, there's been a request from the Bureau of Street Services to withdraw item number 1 if your board has no objections. And also from the Bureau of Contract Administration on item number 4, there's been a request to continue that item to Friday, May 20th, 2022, inasmuch as we are still identifying the funds to pay stop notices or pending stop notices on item number 4. So we need additional time to review those stop notices and report back to your board.
No problem. Thank you. That is fine. Before I say that, colleagues, any objections on withdrawing item number 1 and continuing item number 4?
No objections.
Got it. Hearing none. Those items, item 1 will be withdrawn and item 4 will be continued to Friday. I think you said May
20th.
May 20th. Okay, got it. Okay, well, Doctor, I know that we had a caller for item number 1. Is that correct, Dr. Campos?
No, we have 2 callers on the line under general public comment.
General public comment. Okay, no problem. Okay, well, let's listen to public comment.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and start with Diana Nicole, caller ending in 688. Caller ending in 688, if you can please unmute your microphone by pressing *6. You will now have 2 minutes to speak under general public comment. Please go ahead, and thank you for your patience, Diana.
Thank you, Fernando. Members, Diana Nicole, I'm calling on behalf of the invisible minority, brown people who plant and care for our native landscapes in a sustainable way. We already have soil under our nails by this time of the day, and so do I. I'm calling from the field. This past Friday, several members made erroneous comments after I and a CFAC rep made public comment on a tree removal and application of the protected tree ordinance. So I really want to set the record straight here. We fully understand the city's protected tree ordinance, how it's implemented, and the abuses of the application of the mitigation plan. To be clear, Commissioner Davis, the consulting arborists are hired and paid for by the applicant. Some of those consulting arborists are friends of mine, and they're good people, but they're often abused by city staff who threaten to blackball them if they don't produce horticulturally and biologically unsound mitigation planting schemes in order to fulfill the city's cynical approach to mitigation under the protected tree ordinance. I've earned the right to make those judgments about our planting schemes because I have earned a master's in it, and I have been planting in the field for decades. And so I want to remind the Board of Public Works, these members, that before you consider mitigation plans, you need to first do what the protected tree ordinance says that you need to do, which is to look at these plans and make sure that absolutely nothing can be done to protect trees in place. That's number 1. Then you can start looking at the mitigation. So it just became very clear this past Friday that has devolved into a rubber stamping of tree removals and bad mitigation plans. I hope you will consider these comments very seriously so that we all can have a place to work in this shrinking urban forest. We need to have our landscapes and our gardens to
Thank you.
continue
It's been
doing
2
our
minutes.
job.
Minutes if you can wrap up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicole. We'll go ahead and move forward to the next caller on the line, Joanne D'Antonio. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under general public comment.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is Joanne D'Antonio, the CFAC representative appointed by the councilman to represent CD2, and I'm speaking in that capacity. Also, you should have received a letter passed by CFAC yesterday. I have been involved in city tree policy for 8 years. In 2017, I was present at the mayor's first meeting to gather support for adding the Toyon and Mexican elderberry to the protected tree ordinance. Please be assured that I understand the full PTO process. After your hearing on the Glen Album protected trees last Friday, Brian Ramirez, the UFD representative, phoned me and said he thought Commissioner Davis was asking him about the UFD arborist who checks the applicant's tree report. He verified that this UFD inspector does not prepare protected tree reports, and all protected tree reports in the transmittals are prepared by the consulting arborist who is chosen, hired, and paid for by the applicant. UFD's planting is confined to street and median trees. Horticultural and ecological planning on properties is really out of their area. The director of urban forestry readily admitted at CFAC that they do not have the knowledge to advise on ways to understand and advise on building plans to save trees. LA County has an environmental planner that can do this consulting, but in the city of LA, we just don't have this position. CFAC has been working to get an environmental planner, and we really try to consult experts to give advice to make better outcomes. We would prefer to help resolve these issues ahead of time and not at a hearing, but all we get initially is a one-page tree removal request notification and then the same access as the public to the plans 72 hours before the hearing, insufficient time to work out a constructive solution. So we end up at this hearing. CFAC's request for early access to tree reports has been ignored. I don't envy your task since there is no opportunity for it to be informed by an environmental consultation.
2 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. President Garcia, that clears the queue for general public comment.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Public comment is now officially closed. Great. Colleagues, takes us to approval of the minutes of Friday, April 22nd of 2022. Is there a second to my motion to move this item forward?
So,
I want to put a note on this minutes in terms of the feedback that I just got about the data in the minutes in terms of suggesting that perhaps some of the actions that were told and the information given might not be accurate as it relates to the said motion that was just formally discussed. I will support accepting the minutes, but I am requesting in my acceptance and my seconding an executive meeting with Rachel Mallory and as well as the Urban Forestry Division to talk further so that I can get some clarification on the information that was given to me on these minutes that we're going to accept. So I second that motion, and I'm requesting that I have an executive meeting with Rachel Mallory as well as Urban Forestry regarding the matter I just discussed.
Got it. Noted, Dr. Davis. Ted, I see your hand up.
Yeah, the minutes for the board to approve today are from Friday, April 22nd. I think, I don't want to get into the public comment, but that may have been a different meeting, but.
Okay, all right.
I want to
Thank you for
clarify
that.
that the board's approval of minutes today are for the meeting on Friday, April 22nd, which was.
Okay,
not
thank you
last
for that.
Friday, it was the Friday.
Thank you for that correction. I thought it was from the prior one. Thank you.
No problem, Dr. Davis. But noted on your request, and definitely if Rachel is listening, please reach out to start setting up a meeting with Dr. Davis. Thank you, Dr. Davis, for that too as well. Okay, public comment has officially been closed. We've approved the minutes. Moving on to our item number 1, which has been officially withdrawn, so we will not be taking up item number 1 today or listening to any public comment on item number 1 until it gets rescheduled. Item number 2, this
President
is...
Garcia, before we go to item number 2, before you open up item number 2, can we just take a vote tabulation for the approval of the minutes?
Oh, sure, that's right, you're right.
Moved by
There
President-
was a first by me and a second by Dr. Davis and Vice President Villegas to move the approval of the minutes of April 22nd forward and forthwith.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation for the record, and we'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos, for reminding me And that. Okay, moving on now, colleagues, to item number 2. This is a joint report by the Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Engineering. This is in Council District number 7. Oh, is this Angela that's going to present on these? Yay.
Yes.
Good morning. Angela is, I'm going to read items 2 and 3 together, and then you can present on those 2 together. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Perfect. This is in Council District number 7, a contract acceptance collection systems North Outfall Treatment Facility, Carbon Facility Upgrade CIP 7192, recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. Item number 3, Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Engineering. This is in all council districts. Also a contract acceptance for erosion control for hillside damage, fiscal year 2020 to 2021, recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. And that's all. Angela?
Okay, thank you, President, and good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Campos. I'll be brief. The first one, agenda item 2 for the Northfall Treatment Facility carbon upgrade. What they did was they replaced carbon vessels, ducting, demisters, blowers, pressure gauges, and soundproof enclosures for fans and ductwork at the outfall treatment facility. The on-call emergency contractor was Murray Plumbing and Heating. They were awarded an original not-to-exceed contract amount of $2,348,252 on July 25th, 2018. Subsequently, during the work, 20 task work orders were issued, bringing the total cost of this project to $2,166,051.24, which was 7.75% below the not-to-exceed original amount. The completion of the project was April 23rd, retention released on May 11th. Funding was per wastewater capital improvement budget and sewer capital fund 761. There are no disputed or withheld funds, no unresolved property complaints. The contractor complied with all required EEO and labor compliance requirements of the contract. We did a contractor performance evaluation report, and we are asking you to accept this contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, for that very thorough report. Colleagues, any questions on item number 2 or item number 3? Seeing none, is there a motion to move item 2 and 3 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second? I'll second it. Okay, Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by me to move items 2 and 3 forward and forthwith.
So we'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation, and we'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous for items 2 and 3. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos, and thank you, Angela, for that. Have a good rest of the weekend.
You're still going to see me.
Oh, you're still here. No problem. I like it. Okay. Item number 4 has been continued to Friday, May 20th, moving us on to item number 5. And I believe you said 5 through 10. I can take them together, right, Dr. Campos?
No, 5 stands alone, and then 6 through 10 can be taken
6
together.
through 10. Got it. Apologies for that. Okay. This is item number 5. This is in our council districts. This is AFE, miscellaneous vendors. The Bureau of Contract Administration and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $100,099.25 to pay for various advertising media services to reach a large and broad audience to inform the general public of the minimum wage and paid sick leave requirements for the Office of Wage Standards. And we have Ms. Robinson here.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, President Garcia, Commissioners, and Executive Staff. My name is Margaret Robinson. I'm with the Office of Wage Standards, Bureau of Contract Administration. On July 1st, 2021, the minimum wage rate increased to $15 for both small businesses with 25 or fewer employees and large businesses with 26 or more employees. Excuse me. Starting July 1st, 2022, and thereafter, the new minimum wage rate will be based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers for the Los Angeles metropolitan area, which is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Due to this increase with AE 2276005M, we are requesting your authorization to spend $100,099.25 on various advertisements and outreach mediums to continue strategic advertising efforts to target ethnic and diverse communities of employers and employees and inform the public of the minimum wage rate increase. This request is part of our greater outreach plan, which encompasses advertising with newspapers, radio stations, digital outlets, exterior bus displays, interior bus cards, bus shelters, and bus benches in multiple languages. The advertisements provide the necessary notice to reach a large and broad audience in 9 various languages and will inform both employers and employees about the minimum wage increase, paid sick leave requirements, and the Fair Chance Initiative for Hiring Ordinance, specifically in geographic areas with high concentrations of ethnic and immigrant population. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Very thorough as well. Any questions, colleagues?
From me.
None at all. We're very happy that this is happening, and we're very happy that you'll be able to make sure that all those that need to know the minimum wage is increasing will know. So thank you, Ms. Robinson, for that. Colleagues, is there a motion on the table to move item number 5 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. There's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 5. Dr. Campos.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation, and we'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
And Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to consider this item to go forward forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Robinson, there you go. Please, you're ready to go set out this campaign and make sure that everybody gets their fair wages.
Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you too.
Great. Moving right along, colleagues. I'm going to take items 6 through 10 together. And is this Ms. Martinez again?
Yes.
Oh, look at you. Here you are. All right. I'm going to read them all to the record, and then we can present them all together. That's what, Angela. Item number 6, this is in Council District 14. This is a subcontractor substitution, Axiom Group, recommending the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request for Axiom Group for the subcontractor substitution of Martinez Landscape Company, Inc. with West Pac Concrete, Inc., doing business as West Pacific Concrete, to perform the storm drain portion of work. Superior Pavement Markings, Inc., to perform the stripping portion of work, and Axiom Group to perform the concrete work for the Olympic Boulevard and Mattel Street Improvement Project rebid. Item number 7, Council District 14, subcontractor substitution, Axiom Group, recommending the board to concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request for Axiom Group for the subcontractor substitution of Hardy and Harper, Inc. with Axiom Group for asphalt, concrete, and crushed miscellaneous base installation work for the 6th Street Viaduct Mission Myers Roundabout Project. Item number 8, this is in Council District 11, subcontractor substitution, HZS Engineering, Inc., doing business as HZS Construction, recommending the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request of HZS Engineering, Inc., doing business as HZS Construction for the subcontractor substitution of SGD Enterprises, doing business as Four Seasons Landscaping and Saldana Landscape Design, Inc., for tree service work for the Sanborn Avenue reconstruction near Washington Boulevard Street Improvement Project. Item number 9, this is also in Council District 11, subcontractor substitution, HZS Engineering, Inc., doing business as HZS Construction, recommending the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request of HZS Engineering, Inc., doing business as HZS Construction for the subcontractor substitution of Traffic Management, Inc. with California Traffic Control Services for traffic control work for the Sanborn Avenue reconstruction near Washington Boulevard Street Improvement Project. And lastly, item number 10, Council Districts 9 and 14, Subcontractor Substitution International Line Builders, Inc., recommending the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request of International Line Builders, Inc. for the subcontractor substitution of one-time utility cells, Inc. with Divera Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Logistical Enterprises as lighting material supplier for the Central Avenue Public Transit Improvement Project, Federal Award Number CA-04-0208-01. Okay, Ms. Martinez, we're ready for you.
You did all the work.
I know.
I'm just asking for you to accept these substitutions. Please?
No problem. Is there a motion on the table to approve items 6 through 10?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I'll second that. Is there any objections? Questions? Sorry, we went right to the motions, but any questions, colleagues? Didn't sound like any, Angela. Okay, Dr. Davis, Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by me to approve items 6 through 10, forward and forthwith.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start with the voting. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
And Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. This is for items 6 through 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. There you go, Angela. Made it super easy for you.
Thank you, President Garcia. I want to say congratulations, Commissioner Corzan. It's an honor to meet you, sir, and I hope everyone has a fabulous weekend, and I appreciate all of your public service. You guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Mr. Corzan, if you have not met in person Angela, you have to. It's a must. She's amazing.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Good to see you always.
You too.
Okay, have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye. Colleagues, moving on now to we're moving along today very nicely. Moving on to item number 11. This is an administrative item for Council Districts 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, and 15. The mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Office of Community Beautification to execute the approval of contract amendment and budget increase for various Office of Community Beautification contracts. And we do not have a speaker on this, right, Dr. Campos?
That is correct.
Okay. Colleagues, any objections on this item?
None from me.
Is there a motion to move this item forward? And forward?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item 11 forward and forthwith. Making sure we say forthwith. I want this one to move.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, especially the item that's before you for the contract amendments. We've been waiting for this for several months, so thank you so much. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation, and we'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
And Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. If we can do double forthwith, Dr. Campos, let's do that.
Ecstatically, yes.
Thank you. All right, colleagues, moving on to our communications segment. This is item number 12. This is a stop notice for Earthwise Demolition and Abatement Corp. Earthwise Demolition and Abatement Corp. is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $6,000 for services rendered for HZS Engineering, Inc. in connection with the Sanborn Avenue reconstruction project. And we do not have any presenters for this item either, right?
But that is correct. This item is just to receive the stop notice.
Got it. Any objections, colleagues? No. Is there a motion to move this item forward? I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm taking for Commissioner Corson. I haven't heard from him today. It's the first by me, Dr. Campos, and a second by Commissioner Corson to move item number 12 forward and forthwith.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Davis, aye.
and Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Colleagues, that seems like that's the end of our voting items. We are now in our oral report segment, and we'll start with the status update on major upcoming street improvement projects. Item number 13, the Bureau of Street Services. Mr. Lewis, is that you, Mr. Lewis, here?
This is me. Good morning.
Good morning. See, we made it fast for you today, so you can start your weekend early.
I know. Well, I'm still at work, but I appreciate it. So, good morning, President Garcia, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, and Dr. Campos. I'm Antoine Lewis, Superintendent, Reception Division. I'll be speaking about projects that will be taking place May 8th through May 14th. In the metro area, we will be completing 6 projects for a total of 5.4 lane miles. And in the Valley region, they'll be completing 1 project of 3.3 lane miles. Even though it only says 1 project, there's more projects going on, but that's the only project that'll be completed during that week. And that's my report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Any questions, colleagues, to the Bureau of Street Services? Hearing none. Mr. Lewis, thank you for your time. Have a good rest of the weekend. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you. And last on our agenda for today, it is the Office of Community Beautification update. And I see Mr. Roche is here. Yay, Mr. Roche, how are you? Okay.
I'm well. Good morning.
Good to see you. All right, colleagues. We are very happy to have Mr. Roche here and excited to hear the update.
Okay, well, it is a exciting time for a number of projects we have with OCB. Good morning. Paul Roche, Director of the Office of Community Beautification. Just with a quick update and synopsis of some of the recent work of our office. First off, just a quick highlight for our nonprofit community-based organizations who are contractors with OCB as they continue to provide a high level of various community beautification services. In terms of graffiti abatement, OCB contractors are on pace to remove somewhere between 29 to 30 million square feet of graffiti by the end of the fiscal year. Approximately 75% of requests for service that are submitted are abated within 1 day. 82% of the requests are abated within 2 days, and 87% of the requests are abated within 3 days of when they are received. And again, we like to point out that accounts for approximately 30% of the overall work that our graffiti contractors do. Comes as a request that's submitted. The rest of the work is proactive work that they do by monitoring the hot spots across the city, driving up and down the major corridors, and just attacking as much graffiti as they are able to do within the time that they have to do so. The next program that our contractors are involved with is the Clean LA program, which started this fiscal year. So we're closing in on almost a year's worth of service with the Clean LA program. It does continue to expand, and it focuses on cleaning designated major corridors throughout the city of Los Angeles. Through the end of April, Clean LA crews collected over 38,000 trash bags of weeds and litter and debris from along the public right-of-way. They picked up 20,440 illegally discarded large items from along the public right-of-way. In total, that totaled over 380 tons of debris that was removed from the public right-of-way just for the first 10 months of the current fiscal year. The crews work an average of 138 miles per week along 52 distinct corridors, geographically spread across the city of Los Angeles, but definitely with a major focus in high impact areas such as South LA, Central LA, and the Boyle Heights area. Secondly, we also continue to operate the Clean Streets program, which is similar in nature to Clean LA, except that the crews are not held to a specific geographic corridor and can really focus on as needed areas that they're aware of in terms of litter abatement and weed abatement. For the current fiscal year, the Clean Streets crews have collected over 88,000 trash bags and over 5,000 illegally discarded large items from along the public right-of-way. Additionally, several of our contractors also received supplemental funding from different council districts to provide cleanup services in those specific districts. And in total, that funding has provided services to collect over 83,000 trash bags and almost 70,000 illegally discarded bulky items from along the public right-of-way. So you can see between those separate programs that a large amount of work has been going on to clean the streets and the corridors of the city of Los Angeles. I do like to just make the mention, that we don't do anything in relation to homeless encampments. We do stay away from those areas and leave those to the Bureau of Sanitation to deal with any debris or items that may be somewhat related to homeless encampments. In terms of volunteer events, things are starting to heat up a bit. Also, as we come out of COVID, we are in the period of the Great American Cleanup, which is a nationwide cleanup effort, sort of sponsored by Keep America Beautiful. It typically involves a number of events occurring between March to May every year. And just to highlight a couple events that we do have upcoming, next weekend, May 14th, OCB is participating in and helping to coordinate a cleanup of Little Tokyo that's expected to involve between 450 to 500 volunteers. So that's going to be a very large event in the Little Tokyo community, also part of AAPI Heritage Month as well. So it's going to be a dual celebration on that as we clean the Little Tokyo area. May 14th, we also have a cleanup in the Highland Park community, focusing along York Boulevard and several of the off streets on that. That's sponsored by the council office in CD14. We're also working with Loyola High School. They're having an event called Mom and Sons Cleanup coming up on May 14th, and we are expecting approximately 100 volunteers to participate in that. And there's also on May 20th a cleanup in the MacArthur Park area. So we are seeing more and more people coming out and being willing to join in those community beautification efforts. And that really is, the original purpose of our office was to support volunteer efforts. In the last couple of years, that's obviously had to kind of take a back seat with COVID and bringing large groups together. But it is good to see so many volunteers throughout the city willing to come out and clean and beautify their communities. In terms of the Keep Los Angeles Beautiful program, we just earlier this week concluded our Beautify LA grant application period. We received approximately 25 grant proposals submitted by various organizations across the city who are applying to receive up to $2,500 in funds to do some type of hardscape beautification type of project. So we're currently going through those applications now, and those will be reviewed, and those that are deemed worthy to move on will go through a second round, and ultimately it's our goal to probably fund about 15 of those projects, making sure that we're able to hit all parts of the city and also focusing on some of the disadvantaged areas of the city. And of course, in case anybody is not aware, we do have our annual Beautification Conference coming up on May the 17th, so just in a couple of weeks. It will be held virtually via Zoom, and some of the workshops and topics will include recycling information, water conservation, as well as talking to some of the people who received the first round of Beautify LA grants to get their input and share their experiences as how it went, and hopefully encourage some of the new grant folks. We will also be having a keynote presentation by a representative of Keep America Beautiful regarding a nationwide litter study and survey that their organization recently conducted. So definitely, if anybody is interested in attending that conference, you guys are all more than welcome. If you don't have the information as to how to join the conference, please feel free to reach out to me or Commissioner Garcia, who is spearheading that effort for us. And definitely a shout out to Karina Casillas of my staff, who's been extremely busy these last couple of weeks as she's been heading up both the grant program and the organizing of the conference. So I think one thing we've learned is maybe not to put those two things so close together in the future. And then finally, just in terms of OCB general operations, over the past couple months, we have had two new staff people join our staff, which has definitely helped us out. Kevin Gresham began in January. He's overseeing the Clean LA program for us, so he's been on board for a couple of months. And about 2 weeks ago, Ian Galvez joined our staff as our second warehouse person, helping out Sal at the OCB warehouse. And it's certainly a good time as we have all these events and different things that need the support of the warehouse. So we are glad to have those new people on board. And that does conclude my report. I'm open for any questions if anybody would have some.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. That was a very thorough report. The only, and our colleagues, any questions that you have, the only thing I would say, well, if it's okay, if you can send us the your community cleanups, perhaps some of the commissioners might want to go and participate and do some cleanups ourselves also. Okay,
I can definitely send those, and also they are posted on the OCB website, which you can join through the Board of Public Works website, and we do have our calendar of events. But yeah, we'd be happy to send out information on those different events as well.
Perfect, thank you for that. Vice President Villegas.
Thank you. Thank you for your thorough report. It's more just comments. I'm so glad to receive your report. I know that you all have been really busy, just in the community, and it just, just during this time for Great American Cleanup. Glad to see all the, events taking place. I signed up already for my son's school at Loyola, but it's nice to know that you all are also a partner in that. I always say actions, not words, and we will participate on Saturday. So I'm glad and encouraged by that. But I was going to also ask for the same thing that Commissioner Garcia mentioned, just on the flyers, but thanks for letting us know that everything can be directed to your website. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice President. Any other questions? Dr. Davis.
Yes, thank you so much, Paul, for your report. I wanted to ask, in terms of the impact of COVID, it sounds as if we are really beginning to move forward with, it sounds to me like at least about 90% of our capacity. How would you evaluate it as the program director in terms of where we are in operating given COVID?
Yes, Commissioner, it sort of depends on the different aspect of the program. Our contractors, our nonprofit community-based organizations, pretty much continued to work throughout the period of COVID. And in terms of graffiti removal and public right-of-way cleanup, really never did slow down. And in some ways, we're actually able to speed up because, early on in the pandemic, there was very little traffic on the streets, and they found it very easy to move around and get to Graffiti and keep driving. So they actually were really able to knock out some high numbers on that. Really, the portions of our program that were affected by COVID involved those types of events where we brought, large groups of people together, whether that was cleanup events, which definitely took a high impact and slowed down during COVID, or our Beautification conference, which, used to be held live. We did miss the Beautification conference in 2020 because it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. Last year we held a virtual one, and again this year it's being held virtually. But we are hopeful that from here on, after this one, that perhaps we'll be able to move back to in-person conferences. They definitely, bringing people together and giving them a chance to talk to each other and see some of the different demonstrations and the different, programs that are there with displays and stuff like that work a lot better in person than on Zoom. So
we've not yet been able to really increase back to the level of involvement we had with council district offices. I know that a part of what you do is assist some of the field staff and various council offices around the neighborhood cleanups. I guess the neighborhoods haven't been as responsive as of yet, or have they, as it relates to neighborhood cleanups?
Overall, that would be correct. Looking at a citywide number, there are definitely different parts of the city where the council offices or the communities are still not coming out in the numbers they were pre-COVID. Sure. And then in certain parts of the city or certain council districts where they really are kind of driving those events, we are starting to see the numbers get back to where they were in pre-COVID levels. Overall, though, the numbers are still somewhat slow compared to what we were doing in terms of supporting volunteer efforts before the pandemic.
Sure. My final question is, as we look towards our continued work, this is May and next month will be June. We normally have these programs that we include the young people in the various council districts to work in the summer. Where are we with that? What's your vision for where we are? And I know it's depending upon COVID, so I don't know if we have any impacts or any advice from healthcare professionals about how we move forward for the summer.
Right. Commissioner, great question. We have definitely set aside some funding for our nonprofit community-based organizations to hire summer youth workers. And they may not be able to do it at the full level they were pre-COVID, because before then they'd have a passenger van and ram 10 or 12 youth into the van and take them out and use them to clean graffiti off light poles or the back of stop signs and stuff like that. We may not be in a position where we can put that many people in a van together. Maybe it'll be like 4 or 5 as opposed to 10 or 12 or something like that. But our contractors have definitely let me know that they are getting a lot of requests for summer jobs from their local youth, and they are very interested in running those types of programs, and we're very interested in utilizing some funding to support those. Also, we do have, as sort of a offshoot of the Clean LA program starting in July, we received funding for through the California Youth Grant for All, or I can't remember the exact term, but hiring of youth who are defined as ages 30 and under for full-time employment, cleaning along the major corridors of the city. So we will have some full-time jobs for residents of the city ages 30 and under to be participating in the Clean LA program for not just for the summer, but even beyond the summer.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Commissioner Corson.
I'll be quick. Thank you. I just wanted to follow up on Commissioner Davis's question. I've noticed, whether it's in social media or through council offices, community members are doing their cleanups without actually working with the council office or other elected offices or the city. And I wonder if you've been noticing that, if this is records of individuals you have been keeping or can collect for whenever you do start up these conferences and working with community groups, because they seem to be a newer set of individuals that are just organizing within their communities.
Yeah, so certainly there are a number of groups like that who may not coordinate with the city because one, they may not even really realize the city has resources for them, or for other reasons they may not be interested in doing that. We do work with a number of groups that don't necessarily work with the local council office. They just like to coordinate their own events, whether that's a neighborhood council or a homeowners organization or anything like that. We do also have a number of groups that really have been doing it for so long that they don't need any coordination from our office other than some supplies here and there. We have groups that maybe 2 or 3 times a year ask us for a few boxes of trash bags and a couple of brooms and rakes, and they just go out and get their volunteers and do their thing and clean up their neighborhoods, whenever it works for them. And when they need more trash bags or a couple more supplies or something, they let us know and we supply those. So there are a number of groups like that just don't want to be part of a large event on a Saturday morning from 9 to 12, but may have volunteers who want to go out, for an hour on their walk and just need some trash bags or a couple brooms because they just want to keep this corner clean or something like that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Roche, for your thorough report. Please send our regards to your staff and their hard work that they're doing as well. And other than that, thank you and have a good rest of the weekend, Mr. Roche.
Thank you, you too.
Great. And colleagues, I apologize, we do have one more. This is item number 15, and this is, let me officially say, item number 15, the Gloria relocation status update from the Bureau of Engineering. And I believe we have Ms. Parra here for that. Hi, Ms. Parra, good morning.
Good morning, President Garcia, Vice President Villegas. Good morning, commissioners, distinguished guests. My name is Janelle Parra. I'm the property manager for Bureau of Engineering Real Estate Division. And I'm here to provide La Gloria's relocation progress as requested by the Appeals Board at the conclusion of La Gloria's relocation appeal hearing held on February 4, 2022. Some of the activities completed in April 2022. La Gloria has engaged Simon Glover to provide architectural and engineering services for the relocation project. Simon Glover began the on-site verification of La Gloria's equipment and facilities and began developing the site and floor plans. Other key tasks and activities from last month, weekly meetings and conferences, completed detailed plan layout, engaged the city on permitting requirements and support, continued environmental engineering, as-built drawings completed, updated expected project and cash flow for April through July 2022. La Gloria also signed TUV SUD America Inc. contract to perform electric testing and verification. Initial payment for TUV requested and pending the Los Angeles Department of Transportation accounting approval. We also received additional funding requests for ongoing vendor support, and that's currently under review. The relocation schedule has been updated based on anticipated permitting timeline after preliminary city meetings with case management. Some of the activities planned for this month, continuing city communications and permitting support, creating initial site and floor plans, begin communicating with LADWP power system on power service modifications, begin electrical testing, and continue the environmental engineering. So as a summary, we're on schedule and on budget, and also staff from our division have informed La Gloria about this upcoming oral presentation and provided an opportunity to attend. This concludes my oral report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Parra, for that. Just, my normal question was, La Gloria's owners knew about today's hearing? Were they aware of today's hearing? Got it.
Yes, President Garcia.
Thank you, Ms. Parra. Any questions, colleagues? Dr. Davis.
Yes, in terms of today's report, does it fit into our plan in terms of our vision of completing the transition for La Gloria?
Yes, Commissioner Davis, it is on schedule.
Okay, and what is our overall goal to date in terms of when we anticipate that we will be able to have successfully transformed them to the new location?
Great question. Based on the schedule, the relocation would have been expected to occur as early as January of 2023 to about February 16 of 2023, which is what our targeted date.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Dr. Davis.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Any other questions, colleagues? Ms. Parra, we appreciate the monthly updates. We look forward to them, and we look forward to obviously this partnership moving forward as in the timeline that everybody has agreed on. So thank you for that, and good to have you here, and we'll see you next month again. Hopefully.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You too. Have a good weekend, Ms. Parra.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, colleagues, now that is the end of our meeting. We will have a management meeting right after this. Do you guys want a 5-minute break, or do you want to just go straight into it? I'm open. 5-minute break. Okay, we're going to do a 5-minute break. Okay, colleagues, Dr. Campos, are there any items on the desk?
No, there's not. You've cleared the desk.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. We are officially adjourned for Friday's May 6th meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the weekend. Colleagues, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Thank you.